Hello and welcome back to the Basilica of Saint Mary. As you know, Northern Virginia is in phase 1 of the reopening program, and we are permitted once again to have public masses, which we are delighted to be moving forward. There are some restrictions, however, and this video will explain to you some of the changes that you might find. We are limited to 50% capacity, and social distancing of 6 feet between households should be observed. The wearing of face covering is also expected. When you come to Mass, you'll find the doors ajar and be able to enter without touching any surfaces. A reminder, if you're 65 or over, immune compromised, or have a fever or persistent cough, it's better that you remain at home. You can watch the Masses streaming. They'll be live streamed at all the usual Mass times, beginning with the 5 p.m. Vigil, 7 a.m., 8:30, 10 o'clock, 11:30, 1 o'clock, and the 5 p.m. on Sunday evening. So I encourage you, if you are 65 or over and fall in one of those categories, to please remember it's safer at home, and the bishop has granted for the foreseeable future a dispensation from being physically present at Mass. When arriving for Mass, please avoid using the side entrance and instead use the main entrances, where you will find the doors ajar and be greeted by an usher to be seated. For those needing the inclined entrance, that will be open, and you may access the church by touching the handicap push button. Please place your mask on before you depart your car, and as you enter the church, you'll be greeted by an usher. Please wait to be seated. As you enter the church, you'll find that the holy water fonts have been emptied, but we do have hand sanitizer. Thank you for your cooperation. You may not have the normal seat you are used to, but this way we can fit the most people in together. We will start seating in the first row, and you'll see that every other pew has been taped off. We can sit together as a household, and we're limited to accommodating in the pews those who can fit while social distancing of 6 feet between households. At the time for the offertory, the ushers will come through the church as usual. Please avoid touching the basket. When it's time for Holy Communion, please listen to the announcement. You'll be directed out of your pew and come to the blue crosses marked on the floor. There are 2 communion stations on the St. Joseph side and 3 on the Blessed Mother side. You may approach those as a family or a household, or singly, one person at a time. You may either stand or kneel and receive in the hand or on the tongue. The important thing is to remain stationary to avoid any contact. You should lower your mask before receiving communion. After receiving communion, place your mask back on. One side of the church will go first, the Blessed Mother side, and after they have returned to their seats, the St. Joseph side will go to communion. For those seated in the transepts, they will come up to the rail where they may stand. If the priest accidentally touches saliva or the hand of the communicant, he will stop and use the hand sanitizer between communions. Some liturgical changes that you may notice are the lack of congregational singing, especially in phase 1. We will have music led by a cantor and an organist. There will be no sign of peace. As usual, the precious blood will not be offered in the chalice, and there will not be an offertory procession with the gifts. For leaving the church, please wait for the instructions from the usher and exit your pew to the side aisles to avoid congregating in the center aisle. You're asked to go immediately to your car, not socialize out front. If you'd like to use the hand sanitizer, you may also use that on your exit of the church. Between Masses, the church will be closed as we prepare to clean it and make it ready for the next Mass. If you should arrive at Mass and find this sign out front that says we're at capacity, that means we can no longer accept any more worshipers in the Basilica for that Mass. You're welcome to go around the corner to 313 Duke Street, which is our Lyceum, enter the front doors, go up the stairs, and there you'll find a large screen in which that Mass will be live streamed. As you're following along and praying the Mass over there, you'll note the time for communion. Simply file down the stairs, keeping a social distance, make your way over to the front steps of the Basilica, and get in the queue, the line, for Holy Communion. Once you've received communion, exit by the St. Joseph side transept, which is where the confessionals are, go out that door, out through the courtyard, and back over to watch the conclusion of Mass. For those who attend weekday Masses at 8 a.m. or 12:10 Monday through Friday and 8:30 on Saturday morning, we will not have ushers present, so you'll need to seat yourself on entering and also exiting, as well as coming up for Holy Communion to the blue crosses marked on the floor. Be sure to social distance while you're waiting in the communion line on the blue crosses you'll find down the main aisle. On behalf of the priests and seminarians at the Basilica of Saint Mary, I hope you found this video helpful, and we look forward to seeing you as we re-enter in Phase 1, trying to observe these safety protocols, but enjoying worshiping together and receiving the Holy Eucharist. May God bless you and your family.